Hey guys, how you doing? So, like I said, we have another interview, and this lovely individual decided to speak up after watching my first video. Part of the agreement of him doing the interview was that I had to keep all of his information private. I've decided to honor that to the utmost of my ability. So, please hear this out. I want you guys to understand that this video goes beyond me. It goes beyond whatever my beef is with Clutch Nightclub. It's about being fair. And there are a lot of things that are not fair, but being discriminated against isn't one of them. Everyone should be treated fairly, everyone should be treated equally. And if you have ever been discriminated against, you know how it feels. There's no other feeling like it. You never forget being discriminated against. So hear this out, repost this to the Clutch Nightclub, hashtag no blacks allowed. We gotta keep that going. We need that to keep going, alright? Please put the hashtag there, no blacks allowed. Lets us know that certain people don't belong there, and it can help us from being discriminated against and feeling left out. I appreciate you guys for watching this. I appreciate you guys for taking the steps necessary for us to make this world we live in a little bit better. Ain't much to look forward to in the next couple of days. If you could kindly, sir, state your name for the record. Alright, can you also state the date of birth? Alright, can you also state your nationality and origin?
I'm a U.S. citizen, born in Cairo, Egypt.
Alright, and do you have a specific race or national or ethnic group that you identify with?
Middle Eastern or other when it comes to officials.
Okay, and just to be sure and clarified, do you have a religious belief that you follow in?
Christianity.
Okay, all right, and just so we all are clear on this, do you have any documentation or footage or video that you have from that night?
Yes, I do have pictures of the door guys that rejected entry.
How many door guys do you recall being there that night?
The two at the front, and one were behind them.
Okay.
But my encounter was mainly the two at the front.
Can you describe one of the two door guys you encountered?
Yes, white male, around mid-20s. That's what I recall about this guy.
Was there any facial features, any specific hair or necklace or anything that you could use to identify this person?
He just a short hair. No tattoos to recall. They all had an earpiece. Gray uniform. This is not like nothing specifically to that person, but just a very standard.
How tall and how heavy do you think he would be?
Skinny. I would say like 5'10".
Okay.
5'11".
And about 180,
175.
So you would call this person a smaller individual, correct?
No, just a normal size.
Okay, a normal sized individual. All right. And now can you describe the second person that you were in contact with?
Yes, the second person was an Asian guy, short hair, a little bit built.
All right.
Around 190 weight and about 5'8", 5'9".
All right. And after receiving this type of altercation with these two door guys, did you ask to speak with the manager?
I did not, because I was clearly told to walk away. I did not want to cause any more tension. I went to speak to the officers outside.
From this point on, is there anything else about the day? Can you tell me what day it was, what time it was? Was there a game going on? Was there a special event going on?
Yes, it was October 9 around midnight.
Okay.
And there was a football game, I believe, UT. I'm not a football fan, so
That's fine.
but I know there was a big game going on that night.
Okay.
And I found out when I got there. I had no idea.
Okay. So that means a football game. So this was presumably a Saturday night, a Saturday morning, early.
No, no, it was at night.
Okay, it was at night. So you said 12. So that means Saturday, as in 11:59, or
Yes,
Friday.
yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
around
right.
October 8th, around after 11:59.
Okay. All right. So it's fair to say that majority of the individuals there were dressed in UT or some type of game day attire.
Mix, yes. All different type of attires.
Okay, can you describe to me what you were wearing that night?
I was wearing a shirt, button-down shirt, polo, on jeans,
And
and
and what
yes,
type of shoes?
just a dress shoes.
It's just the dress shoes. All right, and this might seem obscure, but it needs to be stated as Dallas has been known to have gang activity going in the area. You are not affiliated with any type of gang, are you? No,
Definitely not.
you're not affiliated with any of that.
Definitely not. No.
Okay, so it's fair to say that your clothing might not have been, your clothing could not be misconstrued with someone who acts in the nature of that type, right?
Absolutely not. Just a polo button-down shirt on a jeans. I was going for a birthday event.
Birthday event, was the person that you were going to celebrate with you at the time?
N- Um, they were a group and they were inside the establishment earlier.
So you were the only one that wasn't inside a part of your group.
It was me, my brother, and two other friends walking in at the same time.
Okay, and were you the only one stopped, or were all of you stopped?
All four of us were rejected entry.
Okay, and it's also fair to say that your friends emulate your same type of look and criteria as far as dressing?
Absolutely, because we all knew it was a birthday, and actually, it was also a birthday of one of the guys with me.
Oh, okay.
He was rejected entry as well. So it was my brother and two other friends. One of the friends, it was my friend who's his birthday, and his brother also.
Okay.
And we were going to meet a group. So some of them were already inside, and one of the girls had her birthday that night as well.
Okay. And based on your memory, in the crowd around you, was there a line? And of the people in the line, how many people emulated your dress style, and how many people didn't emulate your dress style, using percentages?
85% of the people.
Okay. All right. And so that means, so 85%. So then that means 15% weren't up to par.
Yeah, just you know, I didn't really feel like it's dressed up enough compared to the rest of the crowd
Okay.
that were walking in.
Hey, and that's fair. I don't want you to feel like you're bashing them or making fun of them, but we need this as a form of setting.
This location located in Uptown, which has all kind of different bars and clubs, and it serves all kind of people. So each will have their own policy and whatnot.
All right. So what we have gathered as of now is that you were, one, dressed appropriately by their standards and guidelines, and two, you did not present yourself as being hostile in nature upon approach.
Correct.
Okay. So now we're going to dive into your direct contact with this nightclub. So I want you to tell me exactly what happened from the moment you arrived at the front door.
Okay, so when we got in, there was a big line. We got there. We were trying to see if it's possible, since we have a couple people inside the place that we know, if we can just get there, because they've been there and being served already. And the door guy said, no, you have to, yelling at us, no, you have to get to the line. So we said, that's fine. We got to the line. We waited. The line took about 15 minutes or 20 minutes to get to the front door. And we weren't paying attention like what was going on, but we could see like most people would get in, no problems, or even if there's some going on, it may be just a personal thing. But once we get to the door, the Asian guy specifically, looked at us and he said, and I was the front guy, I was the main guy, I was the first one to hand my ID. And he looked at me, he said, "How many people in your party?" And I said, "Me and my three others, my brother and my two friends." And he said, "No, I can't let you in. We have enough dudes inside."
Now, are you saying, so what you're telling me is that the Asian door guy told you that the reason why you couldn't come in was because there were too many males? Okay, carry on.
And then I said, "What does that mean? We have people waiting for us inside." And he said, "No, no, no, I won't let you in. We have enough dudes. That's not gonna work. Look." And he pointed at the inside, and he said, "Oh, look, how there is so many dudes inside. I'm not gonna let you in."
Now, before you arrived to, how many males did you think got in before you?
Oh, I believe all of them.
So, I mean, all of them. Does that mean 100? Does that mean 10? How many? If there was 20 in line in front of you, how many got in?
I would think 19.
19. All got
Yes.
in. Okay.
Yes.
All right, carry on.
All like everybody was getting in no problem until we reached the door, and we were the only one. And we can tell because we were the ones. There was no holding in line. Everybody would just shows the ID and they would get in. Show the ID and we get in. Once we got to the door, he looked at us and he said, "No, we have enough dudes inside." He just gave us a weird look and he said, "No, you have to leave." Okay, and then when I start questioning why can we get in, he said, "This is how it is." And then he started even kind of pushing me away so I can get away from the line.
Now, at that point, did you ask to speak to a manager or did you ask to speak to his supervisor?
I did not, because my brother was already talking to the cops that were close by.
Okay.
So I figured maybe the easiest way is to get to my brother and speak to the cops and see why is this happening and how is it even possible we can get in.
Now, at this point, did you notice any other males getting in after you guys were denied?
Getting in, yes. As soon as we walked, like the people right behind us, they were all getting in, no problem.
Now, you said all people. What type of people were they? Were they all male and female? Were they all females? Were they all males?
I remember a group of 3 white males got in with no problem. I remember couples, a guy and a girl, 2 guys and two girls after. Like I was watching because I was wondering why we were the only ones told we can't get in.
But you do recall seeing a group of 3 white males get in within the time that you were rejected.
Yes.
Let's take a step back from this situation and talk about what happens immediately after speaking with the Asian door guy and realizing that these individuals got in after you, these white males got in after you, and these white couples and with their boyfriend and girlfriends or couple dating. Let's talk about your interactions with the officer at the site of Clutch. Can you recall the officer's name?
No, I cannot recall the officer's name.
Did the officer have an identifying badge on him?
He did, but I did not have a chance to get it.
Okay, was this ID badge that the officer was wearing in the location? Where on the body was it?
I believe like top left.
Top left. So
left shoulder.
So it was on his chest.
Yes, I believe. I really think they were Dallas police, but I wasn't paying attention. I was just making a straight eye contact with the officer, speaking to him because I was.
Was there a police car?
No, I didn't see a police car.
There was no police vehicle. And how many officers were there?
2.
2. Can you describe the first officer to the best of your ability?
Yes, the main one I was talking to was he was large black male, bald-headed.
A large black male, bald-headed. Now, when you say large, do you mean this person was standing 6'5", 300 pounds?
No, I believe because I'm a 6 foot, so he was I was looking up to him, so he was about 6'1", 6'2".
Okay, and can you describe his weight for me?
He was probably like 240, 250 maybe.
240. So he wasn't
He
obese.
wasn't heavy, he wasn't big, but he was just because of his height make him look like
Okay.
big.
All right. And was there any defining features on him, such as a tattoo, a watch, chain, jewelry, piercings, a type of clothes? Was he wearing an official uniform? Did he have street clothes on with the jacket?
No, it was the official uniform of a police officer.
And this was, what color was the uniform? Black?
Um, maybe navy, dark navy,
Dark
or
navy?
yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I honestly didn't pay attention to anything, but to having eye contact with the officer and speaking to him about what's going on.
All right, so you just described the first officer to the best of your ability. Now, can you describe that second officer?
Yes, he was also black. He was seemed a little bigger. Like he was shorter than me. He was about, I would say, about 5'10", but he was heavier. He didn't. I didn't. I barely spoke to him. I didn't have any. He was just there listening to my conversation with the main officer I was speaking with.
All right, and he was dressed the same.
Same exact thing.
Okay, and you said there was no vehicle, no, but he had a badge on.
Yes.
All right, and did you happen to get a photograph of these two officers?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to, because when I found out the conversation is not going anywhere with the officer, I just went to take pictures of the doorman, and by the time I got back, they were gone.
Fair to say you felt discriminated against at that point, correct?
Yes, definitely. It was very clear the way we were treated, me and, because me and my brother and my two friends are all Egyptian. We have the same skin color, or very similar, with the accent and everything, but it was very obvious that we were standing out in a crowd that was.
Okay, so you believe you were being discriminated against because of your nationality?
Yes.
Okay, because of your skin color, because of your accent, because of your cultural differences.
Yes, I didn't. I think maybe we weren't looking like the way they expected us to be in this establishment.
Okay, and based on your belief now, experience this, do you believe that the establishment was catered more towards the white demographic?
Yes, that's from what I was seeing at the Batio too. Like the numbers weight any other ethnicity or any other
Okay,
race.
so white predominantly was was in this establishment more than any other race.
Yes.
Okay. Now, can we talk more about the conversation you had with the officer? So at this point, you were going to this officer to file a complaint or state that your rights are being discriminated against?
Yes. So I was following up because I was clearly yelled at by the Asian guy. He laid his hand on me, tried to push me away so he can continue with the line.
So let me get this straight: that the Asian door guy put his hands on you to move you out of the line.
Correct.
Did you, at any point prior to him touching you, touch him?
Absolutely not.
All right. And here's another question: had you been drinking at all that night?
This was our very first stop that night. We were going to meet the people that we were going to meet for the birthday. I had to wait for my brother to my memory. I think we had to wait for my brother to get off work.
Okay, so you hadn't been drinking that night?
Zero.
So you had nothing to drink. Is it safe to say that you were in complete control of yourself at the point of contact?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, because as I said, that was the very first stop, because we were going to meet the people we were supposed to meet that night, and we didn't go anywhere before. I was just waiting for my brother to get off work, and then we went to pick up my two friends, and then we hit to Uptown.
All right. So can you tell me what your conversation was with the officers?
Yes. So while I was having my encounter with the like my the conversation with the Asian guy, my brother have already went to the officer to tell him to see what's going on and to tell him what's happening. So when I see this guy have no way to talk to, I went to see my brother, and I went to follow up with a conversation my brother is having with the officer.
Okay.
And I picked it up from here because I was the main one who in contact with the doorman, because I was the first one to hand my ID. So I went and say, okay, so how is this working? We are rejected entry just because, according to the guy, they have enough dudes. Is this how it works here? And he said, okay, you need to calm down, and we need to discuss this. And like I start questioning how does it work. He said, are you gonna I remember him asking me exactly, are you gonna go spend 10 grand inside? I said, no,
Okay.
I'm not gonna go
Time out. So basically, you're asking this officer questions about
Okay.
how to get into the establishment because you've been instructed that there are too many dudes there, so you weren't allowed to get in. But you've already seen several other dudes go in. So you're now asking the officer, how do I get in? And the officer explains to you to calm down, one, and then two, explain you need to be spending a certain amount of money in order to get in.
He was questioning, he was implying, are you the type of person who's gonna go in and spend 10 grand inside? And I said, no, I'm not gonna go spend 10 grand. He said, because those are the type of people who usually allowed to get in. So
All right.
I was yeah, it was very frustrating.
And I completely understand, and like I said, I greatly appreciate you talking to me about this. So the officer explains to you that the reason why to your understanding, the reason why you can't get in is because you're not the type of person to spend $10,000.
Yes, that's how I got out of this conversation.
And this is the first officer, correct? The
Yes.
larger 6'2", 240 officer.
Yes, bald-headed guy.
Okay, all right. Upon hearing that, what was your next action?
Very surprised by what he's saying, and I said, we have people inside. We were trying to get in. We waited in line as just like everybody else, and why are we rejected entry? Like it doesn't make sense. And he said, they have their rules, their policies, and now he's trying to say they're over capacity. So I said, if they are, how are more people are getting in right now?
Okay, so after the officer explained to you that you have to spend a certain amount of money to get in, he then explained that they are at capacity. Did he tell you what the capacity of that nightclub was?
No.
Okay. Did this officer have a jacket or some identifying item on him that said he was part of TABC or the fire marshal department?
No.
So this person didn't identify himself as a fire marshal or TABC certified officer, correct?
Identify himself in such a way.
Okay, so tell me what happened after that.
So I was very frustrated, and I said, so if, assuming I have a restaurant, and as you as a black person, would it be okay if you come to my place and I reject service to you, or I reject serving you? And all he got was a smile, and he said, yeah, I will just walk away.
Okay.
I said, no, this is not how it works, especially in US. Like, this is not the way it's supposed to work.
And when you say he smiled, does that mean he was smiling like did you feel a certain level of sarcasm from him? Like,
yes, sarcasm, and he was out of words. He didn't know how to respond to this. And I said, no, actually, you will try to shut me down, because this is not how it's supposed to work.
And it's funny that you use the word shoot you down, because we have an issue with like that right now going on in America with officers. So granted, this has got to be a very unique situation that you're being discriminated against. You then return to the proper authorities to tell them that you are being discriminated against, and not that their race should matter, but these are two black officers who probably know better off than most what it feels like to be discriminated against, especially in America, and you felt they did not do their part.
Not at all. And actually, I don't know what he said to the door guy, but he, after having the conversation, he just walked to the, because we were close to the door still, so he walked to say some kind of whispering to the door guy, and then he came back and he said no, they can't let you in.
All right. So at that point, the door guy walked up to the Asian door guy.
No. The officer walked up to the Asian door guy.
Okay. And he whispered into the door guy's ear, and then returned.
Yes.
And told you that the door guy said no.
Exactly.
Now, did the door guy offer a reason? Did the officer a reason?
No.
Okay, so it's fair to say that after the officer tried to initiate some type of change, you still had no idea why you weren't allowed into this establishment. Granted, yes, it is the establishment's rights to pick who they serve and who they don't serve, but it must be on the accord of no self-discrimination or no outward discrimination. So you, at this point, still feel that the reason you weren't let in was because of your cultural, ethnic, skin color related background.
Correct. Very straightforward the way, as soon as we got to like our turn to the beginning of the line, he rejected us almost immediately, instantly.
Okay.
It wasn't, there was no, he looked at us, how many people? Oh, the four of you? Okay, actually we have enough dudes inside, we can't let you in, but obviously this is not the main reason.
What do you do then?
So I gave up because I saw the smile on his face. The other officer didn't say anything. He was just listening. And at that point, that's when I started taking pictures. And by the time I took a few pictures, I looked back and they were gone.
Okay. And how many pictures do you think you have?
I believe I have like 3.
In these pictures, can you describe to me what they're pictures of?
The 2 door guys at the front, that they mainly deal with customers walking in, and some of the other bouncers or door guys wearing the same uniform.
Alright, and this is going to pretty much conclude our interview. I feel I have enough information. I'm going to ask just 3 more questions. First and foremost, I want to tell you thank you for your courage, the opportunity to talk with you, and sharing your story. The second thing I want to ask, do you have any questions for me or anything else you would like to state for the record?
Yes. One thing, the weekend before, me and one of the guys that we were with us, one of the guys, the birthday guy actually, that he was with me that night.
All right.
We were out in Uptown as well, and we tried to get into Clutch, and we encountered the same problem, and the reason that time was you must have a table reserved.
So you're telling me that you tried to get into the same nightclub a weekend before?
Yes.
And the reason they gave you was you have to have a reserved table?
Correct.
Now, as from your understanding, what is Clutch to you?
Clutch to me is just a bar on Uptown, and you're welcome to walk. You're supposed to be welcome to walk in for a drink, and maybe if there is a dance floor inside. I've never been inside before because the only 2 times.
Okay, so to your understanding, it is a bar with a dance floor.
Yes.
Okay, and you were told that you have to have a table.
Correct.
And did they tell you how much the table cost?
No.
Now, and this is going to be the last thing I have to ask you, unless there's something else you want to add. All right. So the last thing is, if I told you that the owner of Clutch is going to watch and read this interview, if there was something you wanted to tell him directly, because from my understanding, this is the initiative passed down from his organization, throughout his organization. He's already been part of a lawsuit in 2012 where he was discriminating against his employees with, I believe, equal pay issues, where he wasn't paying minorities an equal sum of their white counterpart colleagues. So he's already been affiliated with such incidents, and to know that the nightclub right down the street, Kung Fu, in 2014 was involved in a scandal where they were discriminating against people. Is it fair to say that you feel that there's a discrimination, there's a profiling issue going on in the Dallas nighttime?
Absolutely, there is. And if the owner listens to this right now, I can tell you I moved to this country 10 years ago from a third world country. I have never been discriminated against or felt that bad or felt humiliated, such as October 9, 2016, when I tried to get into your establishment. Um, I am a young professional, working Fortune 50 company. The guy was with me. He's doing residency for neurosurgery. Also an immigrant. We're young professional. We're trying to have a good time at your establishment, which is we're supposed to be welcoming everybody, but apparently you pick and choose who you get in, and I can tell you from what I've seen before, from how this country works, businesses like this don't last long, and this is my statement to you.
Like I said, man, I greatly appreciate you taking time out to have this conversation with me. This is going to conclude the end of our interview. I got some advice for you guys. It's clear to see that this level of discrimination is expanding and growing throughout our community. And I think it's really important for us to start focusing on things that we're going to need to help sustain a more effective and efficient way of living in this country without the man's help. Because so far, we ain't got nothing from the man but hell.